Hey everyone at Kent Business College, welcome! Today, we're going to dive into a huge question in marketing. How do you take that brilliant spark, that awesome campaign idea you have, and actually bring it to life? We're talking about going from what if to how to. Let's get into it.
So, picture this. You've got it. The idea. The one that's going to be a total game changer. And then bam, reality hits. You need money. You need a timeline. You need to get other people to say yes. This is that make or break moment where amazing ideas either soar or just fizzle out. But here's the secret. The budget and the timeline, they're not obstacles. They are the tools that will turn your incredible idea into a real thing.
First up, let's talk about the big one, the budget. I know, the word budget can sound a little, well, boring, right? Like something for the accountants. But trust me, for a marketer, this isn't about dry spreadsheets. This is about getting the fuel you need to make your creative engine roar.
So, what is a budget, really? It's just a roadmap. It shows exactly how money is going to get you to your goal. It's the thing that proves your brilliant idea is a serious strategy, not just a daydream. And for your apprenticeship, this is absolutely crucial. Showing you can build a smart budget is one of the best ways to prove you know how to handle resources like a pro. Okay, so how do you actually put one of these together? It's not as scary as it sounds. Seriously, just think of it like slicing up a pizza. You've got one big pie, your total budget, and you just need to decide how to cut it up. Let's look at two really straightforward ways to do just that.
All right, so method number one, break it down by channel. This is super clear. You're literally just listing where the money is going. You can see here we've got £5,000 for social media, $2,000 for Google Ads, and so on down the list. This format is perfect if you're talking to a media team because it shows your strategic thinking. You're putting your money where you think it'll have the biggest impact. Now check this out. It's the exact same £10,000 total, but we're slicing that pizza a totally different way, by the type of expense. How much for the creative stuff, like design and video? How much for the actual ad placements? How much for events? This way is really useful for, say, a finance department. Look, neither one is right or wrong. The best one is just the one that tells the clearest story for your plan, to the people you need to convince.
Okay, and this part is huge. Whatever you do, do not forget what I like to call the oops budget. The grown-ups call it a contingency fund, but it's your safety net. What happens if an ad campaign is working so well you want to throw more money at it? Or what if your printing costs come in higher than you expected? The oops budget is there to save the day. A good rule of thumb is to always build in an extra 10%.
All right, let's look at a real-world example that is just legendary. The Greg's vegan sausage roll launch. You'd think a campaign that huge must have cost an absolute fortune, right? Well, the estimated spend was actually around £50,000. That's for everything: the slick video, the PR, the whole social media storm. In the world of national marketing, that is shockingly low for a national campaign. Seriously. But here's where it gets crazy. For that tiny investment, what did they get back? Millions. Millions of pounds worth of free media coverage and publicity. It was an absolute phenomenon. It was on the news, it took over social media, people were talking about it on TV. The return on their investment was just astronomical.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's simple. Greg's proved that a genuinely brilliant creative idea, backed by a smart, focused budget, can be way more powerful than just throwing a ton of money at a boring campaign. It shows that great planning and creativity can beat a blank check any day of the week.
Okay, so you've tamed the money monster. Awesome. What's next? Time. And we're not talking about some boring to-do list. I want you to think of this part of your plan as your campaign's mission control. It's the dashboard that's going to ensure a smooth launch and a successful mission.
What we're talking about is your implementation plan. And all that really is the actionable part of your strategy. It takes all your amazing ideas and puts them onto a calendar. It answers the three most important questions for actually getting things done. What happens? When does it happen? And who is going to do it?
Now, this can feel like a lot, so let's break it down into three really simple phases that pretty much every campaign goes through. Phase 1, preparation. This is all your research and creative work. Phase 2, execution. This is the big launch, the rollout. And Phase 3, evaluation. That's when you look at all the data and figure out how well you did. Simple, right? Prep, execute, evaluate. That's it.
And you know, assigning who does what is so important. A few pro tips for you here. Use job titles like marketing manager or designer, not people's names. It just keeps things professional. Make sure every single big task has an owner, that one person who is responsible for getting it done. And be super clear about dependencies. For example, you can't send the flyers to the printer until the design is approved. Thinking like this shows that you can really manage a project from start to finish.
Now you might see a chart that looks a little scary, something like this. I know, it looks super complicated, right? But don't panic. This is called a Gantt chart, and it's basically just a visual timeline. That's all it is. It's a map that shows all the different tasks, who's doing them, and when. And trust me, even a massive viral campaign like the Greggs launch relied on this kind of organized, structured planning behind the scenes.
So let's look at the Greggs timeline. This is so revealing. The decision to launch was made way back in September of 2018. All of the creative planning, the video production, briefing the agencies, that all happened in the months before the January 3rd launch day. So to the public, the launch felt totally spontaneous and exciting, but really it was the result of months and months of careful, coordinated work.
All right, let's wrap this up. What are the big things you absolutely have to remember from all this if you want to plan like a pro?
You know, it all boils down to this. Your great idea is the engine. The budget is the fuel that makes it go. And the timeline is the GPS that tells you how to get there. You absolutely need all three to reach your destination. Take one away and the whole thing just doesn't work.
And let's be crystal clear about why this is so important for you right now. Getting a handle on budgets and timelines isn't just a nice-to-have skill. It is absolutely critical evidence for your endpoint assessment, your EPA portfolio. This is how you prove you've got the commercial smarts and the project management skills that every single employer is looking for. This is you showing the world you're a serious marketer.
So I want to leave you with this thought. Just imagine it for a second. Your brilliant idea gets the green light, you have the money you need, and you have a clear step-by-step plan to make it happen. There's only one question left. What will you achieve? Now go make it happen.